Welcome to the Relevance Report, where we explore the relevant stories that are shaping our world today. I'm David Falk, your host this week. On today's show, you'll hear from the producer of the Winterruption Music and Arts Festival. Then we'll hear from a professor of the University of Alberta who discusses the future of artificial intelligence. And finally, we'll hear a childcare professional's thoughts on her experience, concerns, and issues surrounding the daycare industry. Winterruption. The Downtown Edmonton Music, Comedy, and Drag Festival took place for the 5th time this year across numerous venues. Headliners for this year included Phosphorescent, Cool Keith, and Rainwolf. The festival is the brainchild of local producer Brent Oliver. He's a busy person, but I caught up with him in the bustling hotel lobby of the Coast Edmonton Plaza, the festival headquarters, to discuss Winterruption, its place in Edmonton, and why this year's festival has been the best one yet. So this is its, fifth year?
Fifth year. So we started the organization in 2019 because you always kind of need about a year's runway to get it up and going and, apply for grants and stuff like that. And so it was the end of January 2020 that we had our first festival. And then 6 weeks later, pandemic happened. So we had to skip 2021. And then 2022 came along and we were all set. And Omicron came along. So then we had to kind of kick the soccer ball down the field another 2 months. So it was end of March, early April. So it almost became spring. So it was sort of a spring winterruption. We rolled with it, and then this is the sort of the third straight year of some kind of normalcy, which is nice. 2023, 2024, and then this is year 5, 2025. And it's the biggest one we've had yet. With last year was the biggest one we had. I think we had 86 artists. This year it's 103.
And of some of those artists, who's like one of the ones that's kind of like a big draw, a big name, a big get for the festival?
Well, there's a couple of them. I hate that we have to rely on international artists, but we do rely on international artists. Just because the draw ends up being, hey, this is a band that may not tour up here unless there's a festival willing to kind of fly them in. Last night was the biggest show we've ever put on, which is Phosphorescent, a guy from Nashville at the church, and that crushed. That was great. I don't know, it's tough to kind of pick them because there are artists that you kind of get because you want to put some butts in seats.
What's the idea behind the festival?
Good for the businesses because January sucks. Nobody has any money because it's after Christmas. It's kind of the doldrums waiting until spring or spring break, and it's like the pun says, it's an interruption in this kind of 3-month stretch where it just feels like nothing is happening until, I don't know, May long weekend almost. It feels like, but the reception's been really good, not only for us, but there's a Winnipeg Winterruption, there's originally Saskatoon Winterruption. For 10 years there was one in Calgary called Winter Classic, and then there's BC has one this weekend called Blizzard Fest. Next weekend there's one in Lethbridge called Cold Bones, and then I've already been in touch with the Shaw Theatre in Vancouver. Next year they want to do a Winterruption, so just to have that kind of circuit I think is really, really important, and they all see it the same way that I think we see it, as just it's something to look forward to after New Year's Eve because there's just not a lot for a while.
Alberta is considered conservative, and yet here's this festival in the middle of Edmonton.
Edmonton's the bleeding liberal heart of the rest of the province, which is kind of nice, compared to the rest of the sort of conservative leading. It's very receptive to this kind of stuff and always has been, like Skirts of Fire and Poetry Festival and the Fringe and all these different festivals that have always been very sort of inclusive minded. For me, it was never really kind of a question in the mission if we should make it inclusive. It just is like, well, of course we should. What drives me more crazy than anything is seeing these country festivals that it's like white dude with a guitar followed by white dude with a guitar followed by white dude with a guitar and girl singer. Anybody can book that stuff. It's just to actually have a little bit of a mandate to look beyond honestly white dudes with guitars.
What is the festival mandate?
50% white guys with guitars, 50% not. Because I can book white guys with guitars. I got plenty of those. But just kind of the diversity of it is super important. Plus, I have 2 gender diverse kids that don't identify as the gender they were born with, and I think it's important to them that they see that Dad's an ally and the festival is an ally and also a place that they can go and feel safe and within their community.
Festival wraps up on Sunday, and then what's the rest of the year look like for you? Plans for the future?
Yeah, I normally take about a month off, a month or two off. But issue is that after the festival is done, there's a lot of grants need grant reporting. There's no such thing as free money, even though grants give you money to put on the festival. You do have to justify it. So I'll have to do a bunch of grant reporting, and then it's the next round of applying for grants because we can't do this without public support and some private business support, and then it's just to start to sell the sizzle for next year and hold venues for next year and start to figure out how much money we have and what we can do next year with it. That's pretty much it.
Brent Oliver, thank you.
It's fun. I like talking about myself. It's my favorites.
Artificial intelligence is a hot topic right now, yet it's hard to tell what is true and what is sensationalized. Will it take our jobs? Dr. Osmar Zaini, a professor at the University of Alberta in the Faculty of Computing Science, discusses how artificial intelligence has already existed for half a century. Brooklyn Burns talked to him earlier this week to get his thoughts on what AI is and where it is potentially going.
AI is ill-defined, at large. They don't give you the right picture of what AI is. It's typically sensational. They want to have the machine against the humans because that's what attracts people. The reality, we're very far from that. So AI has been around for half a century. We started with artificial intelligence in the 50s. And it went through ups and downs. So we have many incredible achievements. Each time there's an achievement, there's a hype that follows immediately after. Today, with all the means we have of communication, particularly social media, as soon as there is a hype, there's a lot of noise. As soon as there's an achievement like ChatGPT was an incredible achievement in 2022, even though the researchers in the field, we were aware of these language models before that, and it wasn't a big deal. But when OpenAI, for example, in the case of ChatGPT, OpenAI made it a product and people can see, then suddenly, oh my gosh, that exists, and we can do this, we can do that. But the reality is that when you open the magical box and you see how it is inside, you realize it's far, far from what we humans can do. In the past, and for half a century, all these achievements were typically specific to some application. Like you take the example in 1997 when Deep Blue beat Garry Kasparov in chess. That was a big event. How can a computer beat the best of the best chess? But that program could not do anything else but chess. We humans are versatile. We can do many different things. And it's true for many other applications, like AlphaGo that beat the best at the Go game. That was yet another hype with AI. It can only do that, play Go. Watson from IBM, when they beat the best at Jeopardy, the game in 2011, IBM has tried very hard to commercialize that and make it work in other applications, but it was so specific to Jeopardy. Cannot do anything else. Again, we humans are very versatile. We can do many different things. I can drive a car, I can write a letter, I can make an omelette, I can knit, I can do different things at the same time. I'm not specialized on just one thing. Now, we are going towards things that can do many things at the same time. And it happens that these language models like ChatGPT is not the only one. There are many other language models. We can also use them for other things. Like in my research, I use language models to build, for example, triage in medicine. So it helps doctors and things like that. So you could use it for other things, but still we're not at the level of the versatility that humans have. In addition, these tools, even though fantastic and they can do incredible stuff, they still can't reason. We reason, we plan. And there are many examples, there's a panoply of examples where the language model fails miserably at planning or doing any reasoning. Now, the race, and there is a race, as you are probably aware of, particularly last week with the announcements, there's a race to make these language models reason. So the last one that was released, for example, by DeepSeek, they called R1. R is from reasoning. So they try to make them also reason, and they test them on math and physics problems and stuff like that. But they still are behind the humans. They invent things that are not true. We call them, they hallucinate. I don't like the term hallucination. I prefer fabrication. They fabricate stuff with confidence. So when you don't know and you listen to them, you think it's true while it's not true. They don't even know, they means the language models, whether it's true or not true. It's basically probability distributions of words, and the words appear after another one in the sequence, and voila, they create a sentence. We need to embrace this new technology and see how it can help us.
We always need childcare, and the demand has led to an increase in daycares opening across the city. But the industry always seems to be fraught with issues of funding and a myriad of different experiences from parents. John Johnson caught up with Shaheen Gamut to talk about her experiences working in the industry.
I want to start by asking, how long have you been in the childcare profession?
I've been in the childcare profession for about 4 years now.
And how has it been treating you?
It's been incredibly rewarding. The experience to see the children grow and learn and develop their own personalities.
That's amazing. And you've mentioned to me before, you've just recently finished your level 2 early learning in childcare. I just want to say congratulations on that. Will there be a plan on getting your level 3?
Thank you. Yes, I do plan on finishing my level 3. I'm excited to keep learning and growing so I can be a better support to the children and the families that I work with.
And what made you inspired to be in the childcare profession?
I've always enjoyed being around children and watching them grow and learn. What inspired me the most was knowing that I could make a difference in their lives by providing a safe and supportive environment where they can thrive.
Can you please give me a few examples of some of the challenges that you've experienced in your 4 years of childcare profession?
In my field, working with children presents several challenges, often stemming from interaction with parents. Many parents have high expectation for their children because they are protective and they seek the best for them. While I understand their desire to provide the best, it is essential to remember that we also have other children in our care who may have greater needs. To address these challenges, I prioritize effective communication between parents and myself. I believe that clear communication is crucial for achieving the best outcome for all the children we serve.
I know you've seen a couple of news articles on daycare closures. What were your initial thoughts knowing why those daycares were forced to close?
When I first heard about the daycare closures, I felt concerned and sad for the children and the families affected. It's upsetting to think about the situations where proper supervision wasn't being provided, because safety should always be the top priority in children. It really made me reflect on how important it is to maintain a high standards, ensures that children are always in a safe and caring environment.
Shadeen, thanks again for being here. It was a pleasure having you.
Thank you. And again, it was nice being here, and it's been fun.
Awesome.
And now it's time for our question of the week. We asked, how do you define success?
Pushing yourself forward and actually accomplishing what you want.
Defining success would be success to whatever it is to an individual, achieving the goals that you want to do, and then during the process also growing and learning.
Thanks for joining us for the Relevance Report. This week's episode was produced by Brooklyn Burns, David Falk, and John Johnson. The show was edited by John Johnson. The show's supervising producer is Sheena Rossiter, and additional studio supervision by Sasha Stanovich. This episode was produced as part of BCSC 325 Radio News and Documentaries course in the winter 2025 semester. The course is part of the Bachelor of Communication Studies program in the Department of Communication at MacEwan University. The show was edited and produced out of the MacEwan Media Production Studio. Our theme music is called Buzzing by Kaylee Lambert. Logo design for this podcast is by Sasha Stanoivich. Your host for this week was me, David Falk. This podcast was recorded on Treaty 6 territory, the traditional and ancestral territory of the Cree, Dene, Blackfoot, Saulteaux, and Nakota Sioux. We acknowledge that this territory is home to the Métis settlements and the Métis Nation of Alberta, Districts 9, 10, and 11, within the historical North Saskatchewan River Territory. Don't forget to subscribe to the Relevance Report on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And if you like what you heard, please leave us a review and rating. It really helps people find the show. Join us again next week when we report the relevant stories that are shaping our world.